Hello class, welcome to our lesson today dealing with integers and absolute value. This is our second day with lessons, section 1.1, excuse me. We've talked a little bit about absolute value, how it's distance from zero. We've talked about positive and negative integers, and the fact that zero is one of those the neutral integer, kind of in the middle of this group of numbers. Remember, when we're dealing with integers, we want to pay attention to if it's positive, if it's negative, if it's neutral, and whether or not absolute value is being used. First thing I want you to do is just go quickly through these 8 questions and find the absolute value. We'll give you a minute to do that. Please write them down in your notes or on a piece of paper, and then we'll check the answers. Overall, these questions shouldn't have taken too much time. Remember, distance from zero just makes everything that was negative and then turns it into a positive. So all of your answers should be positive for distance from zero, except for number 6, which is the absolute value of 0, which means you're on the 0 already, so your distance would be nothing. So please make sure you understand how that works for absolute value. The next questions are similar to what we looked at in our previous lesson. Remember, your expectation is you're going to copy down the original problem, so you copy these down, and then insert the correct symbol, less than, greater than, or equal to. Take a moment and try these 4 questions. On these 4 questions here, all of them should be less than. So 5 is less than the absolute value of negative 7 because the absolute value of negative 7 is 7. Negative 8 is less than 2, and negative 8 is less than negative 7. Now remember, for this one on the bottom right here, you got to make sure that you realize negatives kind of work in the opposite order compared to positives. And so negative 8 is actually further to the left on the number line than negative 7, and that's something that you want to think about. And then the bottom left one here, it should be equal to, because 2 is equal to the absolute value of 2, which is also the number 2. Make sure you work on saying things like the less than symbol, greater than symbol, or equal to sign as you're kind of conversing about mathematics with other people. And make sure you think about that as I'm saying those things as well. For these questions, you're supposed to order the values from least to greatest. It may be helpful to graph those on a number line if you would like. But when you order the numbers from least to greatest, let's use their current kind of formatting and what they look like when you write the final answer. Take a few minutes and see if you can find those ordering from least to greatest. Okay, let's look at the ordering of these numbers from least to greatest. First off, on the question on the left, the lowest number should be -2, and then 2, then the absolute value of 3, which is 3, the absolute value of -5, which is 5, and then 8. But notice here in my answer, I wrote them in order that they were, or in the version that they were given to me in. Obviously, I know that this is 5, but I'm writing in the version that was given to me so I can make sure I take whatever was there and then just order them accordingly. It's important that you understand how to do that to get ready for your upcoming test as well. On the second one, the most common mistake is the lowest one is actually negative absolute value of 1, and the reason is because the negative sign is outside the absolute value. So you kind of have to think like absolute value like a specialized parenthesis. So you have to do everything inside of that and then deal with the negative sign. And so that's still -1, then absolute value of 0, then 2, absolute value of -3, and then the number 5. Make sure you realize to write the numbers and the symbols of the original problems when you order them from least to greatest. Your homework today covers section 1.1. It's the same section that we did before, just different numbers. So 1, 2, and 3 are kind of at the top of the exercises, and then 20 through 36 and 41 through 45. Make sure on those less than greater than situations, you're copying original problems, writing the less than greater than, and making sure you show your work as necessary. Have a good day, everyone.